España, the Miami Dolphins snagged the win for the first ever NFL game in Madrid. Home closing high note, the Miami Hurricanes play their last game in Hard Rock Stadium for this season. And a homecoming masterclass. The FIU football team win a thriller of a match against Liberty University. All this and more on the sideline. South Florida, and welcome to the Sideline, the place where you get all the highlights for your South Florida teams. I'm Valentina Gaspari.
And I'm Laura Iglesias. The Sideline starts now. The New York Jets cornerback Chris Boyd is in the hospital after being shot in the stomach, according to a law enforcement source.
The source says Boyd was shot early Sunday outside a Manhattan restaurant after an argument turned violent. The suspect shooter drove off. The Jets say they're aware of the incident. Boyd has played for 4 NFL teams and is sidelined this season with a shoulder injury. More details are expected as the story develops.
For the first time ever, Spain hosted an NFL game in its downtown plaza. The two teams that played were the Miami Dolphins and the Washington Commanders.
That's right, and the excitement was felt throughout Madrid. Much of it came from our international Miami Dolphins fans. CNN's Pau Mosquera attended the game and spoke with some fans.
After 4 quarters of intense play and some overtime, the Miami Dolphins have emerged victorious in quite a historic showdown. This is because this Sunday was the very first time that a NFL regular season game has taken the field in Spain, a clash that has been celebrated in no other place than the Real Madrid stadium, the Santiago Bernabeu, and has been enjoyed by around 80,000 people.
Go Dolphins!
I thought it was a good game. Just a little disappointed, but yeah.
My husband is the 12th man on the field, die-hard Commander fan. So we traveled here so that we could get the win, and we didn't get it.
I thought we could have played a little bit better. I feel like we should have won that game, but I mean, it came down to the end, so we played okay. You know, could have been worse.
I think our coach made some bad decisions, but we got lucky and we pulled it out at the end.
They always do it to us. I don't know how we've gone from last week to this, but we won, so that's all that matters.
It was honestly one of the best football games I've ever seen because some are boring. This one was very intense, and I'm so happy that we won.
We had a great time, a lot of fun, some sloppiness, but we came with the victory. That's all that matters, all right?
After welcoming this international experience, the Santiago Bernabeu has made it clear that it's ready to host other global events. And that's why the fans are already wondering if the NFL will disembark again next year in Spain. Pau Mosquera, CNN, Madrid.
The Miami Dolphins made it 2 in a row this weekend when they played the Washington Commanders in Madrid. The Finns struck first blood with Riley Patterson making a 46-yard field goal. The game stayed close. At the half, the score was 6-6, but the Commanders picked up steam with an early third-quarter touchdown. But the Dolphins brought it back with one of their own, leading to overtime. The Dolphins sealed the deal with another field goal by Patterson, bringing the final score to Dolphins 16, Commanders 13. The Dolphins remain at home where they will face the New Orleans Saints after a bye week.
And after losing to the Knicks Friday, the Heat take on the New Yorkers again tonight. In Friday's barn burner, Norman Powell drove the Heat with a season-high 38 points, and Jaime Jaquez Jr. added 23. But Miami fell to the New York Knicks 140-132 Friday night in NBA Cup action. The Heat had their biggest lead early, scoring the first 7 points, but the Knicks took control in the second quarter and never looked back. Karl Anthony Towns had 39 points, Leandre Shamet came off the bench for 36, and Josh Hart registered his first triple-double of the season. Miami got within 2 late, but a 10-0 Knicks run pushed New York's biggest lead to 125-110. The teams face off again tonight in Miami. Final score, Knicks 140, Heat 132. Tonight's game against the Knicks starts at 7:30 p.m. at the Kaseya Center.
The Florida Panthers had a disappointing game against the Tampa Bay Lightning on Saturday at Emirates Bank Arena. Tampa Bay scored early in the first. The Panthers didn't answer until the second. The game was tied going into the third period, but the Lightning struck the Ice Cats with 2 goals, bringing the score to Tampa Bay 3, Panthers 1. The Panthers are still at home tonight to face the Vancouver Canucks at 7 p.m.
The Miami Hurricanes finally give their best overall performance from start to finish. Miami's defense dominated the Wolfpack, holding them to just 149 total yards and a mere 29 yards rushing. Meanwhile, Miami's offense clicked when quarterback Carson Beck made big play after big play, including multiple touchdown passes. On the other side of the line of the scrimmage, the Wolfpack continued to slide, dropping to 5-5 and fighting just to finish the game. Final score was Miami Hurricanes 41, State Wolfpack 7. Next up for the Miami Hurricanes is to go face-to-face with the Virginia Tech Hokies on Saturday afternoon.
FIU football fans in good spirits after Saturday's dramatic overtime homecoming victory against Liberty.
And Sideline's Alejandro Hernandez was at Pippel Stadium to capture it all.
The 4-5 FIU Panthers are set to take on the 4-5 Liberty Flames in FIU's 24th annual homecoming game. The Flames have taken their first 3 meetings between these two programs. However, tonight, FIU is looking to change that narrative.
This game got off to a rocky start for the Panthers as the Flames came out hot on their opening drive, capping it off with an explosive touchdown. However, FIU's quarterback Joe Pazensky responded immediately, bulldozing his way in for a rushing touchdown. From that moment on, it was clear this game had all the makings of a shootout.
One of the best homecoming games, for sure.
I say 10 out of 10. Like, I'll come again every time. Like, we'll come.
100%.
Y'all can come at 17-21.
We can do it. We can do it. 100%.
They just gotta want to win.
We have that FIU pride within us. We always gonna win. Whether or not anything happens, we always gonna win. We got that FIU pride within us. Yeah.
Despite trailing 21-17 coming out of the break, the Panthers dominated much of the second half, but failed to finish in regulation as the Flames forced overtime with a late rally, keeping fans on the edge of their seats. In the first possession of overtime, Pazensky connected with wide receiver McGuire Anderson for what would turn out to be the game-winning touchdown as the defense held strong to seal the victory.
After a thrilling overtime finish, the FIU Panthers, or should I say the Sunblazers, emerged victorious by a score of 34-27. This was more than just a win. This could be the defining moment of their season as they now look to push for a spot in this year's bowl game. I'm Alejandro Hernandez, signing off from the sideline.
Well, it's time for us to go to break, but stick around because here's what's next on the sideline. We have our biggest W's and L's locked and loaded. Sideline will take a timeout and return after the break.
Really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes.
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by PantherTech in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Welcome back. Now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, our W's and L's of the week.
Yep.
Well, Vale, to start us off, my W for this week is going to be Josh Allen. This game that happened last night was literally one of his best performances. It was wild. The season started off with the torching the Buccaneers with 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. He locked completely in control from start to finish, picking apart Tampa's secondary and bullying his way into the end zone on the ground. The Bills' offense fed off his energy, moving the ball smoothly and keeping the pace high all afternoon. Buffalo's receivers were sharp too, creating separation and turning short plays into big gains. The run game opened up because of Allen's threat as a runner, which kept the Bucs guessing the entire time and the defense doing its job, forcing key stops that gave the game extra positions. Overall, it was the kind of win that every team wants, and it was just a great time.
Is it too early to say MVP yet? I think so.
Maybe.
But my W is going to Argentina, beating Scotland in rugby with the greatest comeback in history. I mean, my goodness. Yesterday, the Pumas, which is what the Argentine rugby team is called, were down by 21-0 until a second half performance by the team turned the game from a disappointment into a huge success. The tries by Julian Montoya, Rodrigo Isgro, Pedro Rubiolo, Pablo Montera, and Justo Picardo sealed the win. And get this, 22 minutes. All of that happening in such a short time. What looked like a dominant victory for Scotland turned to be an implosion for the team. The final score was 33-24, and this was the first time in 16 years that Argentina beat Scotland in Murrayfield. The last time this happened was in 2009, so it is a pretty big deal. With 2 November wins in Europe for the first time since 2014, the Pumas play England next weekend, and they have never won 3 games in November. So we'll see if they can keep the winning streak going, or if it's just for now, and then they come back with an L. But I think they got it under control.
For sure. I think so too. I'd say that. And now let's take it to the L's. My L for this week is going to be in the basketball court. The Pelicans took a tough loss at home last night, falling 124-106. The Golden State Warriors and New Orleans started slow, giving up 44 points in the first quarter, and they spent the rest of the night trying to climb out of that hole. The team struggled from 3, hitting under 30%, while Golden State stayed hot and kept stretching the lead. Trey Murphy and Jose Alvarado tried to spark a comeback, combining for nearly 40 points, but the Pelicans couldn't get the stops they needed. On the other end, Golden State moved the ball well, and they knocked open shots and controlled the pace from start to finish. For the Pelicans, it's just another reminder of how costly early defense lapses can be against a team that just shoots well.
I mean, it didn't look too good for the Pelicans this week. Rough. But my L goes to the Florida Panthers, losing against their rivals, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Not only was the score horrible for the Panthers, this was a home game advantage. So you would think, even for an advantage on home turf, it wasn't the case for the first battle of Florida teams. The only highlight from the Panthers was Brad Marchand scoring during a power play in the second period. Yet, after the Panthers pulled Bobrovsky for the 6-on-5 advantage with just 50 seconds left of the match, Tampa Bay's Gergensen scored on an empty net, which ultimately leaving the final score of the game 3-1. The next 3 Panthers games are taking place at Emirates Bank Arena here in Sunrise, with the Cats facing the Oilers this Saturday. So we'll see if this team can step up or improve their game.
Oh, Vale, I know that loss must have hurt you, but now it is time for our week's game picks.
Sideline's Nicolette Expert gives us the insight on what's to come.
Thanks, ladies. I'm Nicolette Esper with this week's game picks. Let's get into it. We're starting with Heat Knicks on the hardwood, and of course, as much as it pains me as a Knicks fan, I have to call it like it is. New York has dropped 3 straight on the road, and now they're heading into Miami without Jalen Brunson, and that's not ideal. Meanwhile, the Heat are leading the East in scoring at 125 points per game, shooting just under 50%. And when Miami is rhythm offensively, they're a tough team to steal one from at home. The Knicks can still compete from 3, making nearly 17 threes a night, and they did take last matchup, but given the road struggles and no Brunson, I'm taking the Heat. My Knicks will be okay, just not on the road. Switching on to the ice, the Panthers host the Canucks on Monday, and Florida has been strong at home, and they've been finishing close games, which has really kept them steady early in the season. Vancouver, on the other hand, has a -9 goal differential, and they've allowed 69 goals. Defense has been their biggest issue. They can score, but they give up too much. Sam Reinhart is leading the way for Florida with 10 goals, and over their last 10, the Panthers have been more reliable team at both ends of the ice. So this week, I'm taking the Panthers at home. And finally, we go to the MLS Cup playoffs. Inter Miami is taking on FC Cincinnati in the Eastern Conference semifinals, and this matchup is all about the number 10s, Lionel Messi for Miami and Evander Vieira for Cincinnati. Both have been game breakers all year. Evander has been a huge asset for Cincy, especially in tight games, and he's one of the best playmakers in the league. But of course, Miami, they got Messi, and he's coming off a postseason where he already has 8 goal contributions and has been the most dominant player in the playoffs so far. FC Cincinnati is at home, and they're more balanced, but I'm not picking against Lionel Messi in a knockout match. I'm taking Inter Miami to advance. And that's all the time we have for game picks this week. I'm Nicolette Esper, and I'll send it back to you ladies in the studio.
And just a reminder that if you want to keep up with updates, fun segments, and more from our crew, you can follow our Instagram for all things Sideline. Follow us at sideline.caplin. And that's it for today. I'm Laura Iglesias.
And I'm Valentina Gaspari. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on The Sideline.